Hi everyone, I'm Zoe Saldaña and I play Neytiri in Avatar, and I'm so excited because we are celebrating the 10th year anniversary of Avatar, and you guys had some questions and we are here to answer them to the best of our abilities. And I'm excited to get into this. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all of your support and for being devoted fans to the Avatar saga. And obviously we can't wait for 2 and 3 to come out. And so here goes. Okay, first question. When you signed on to be an Avatar, did you have any sense that it would become the phenomenon that it ultimately became? No. I was just excited to be working with my idol, James Cameron, and to be playing this amazing alien jungle princess that didn't really understand what it meant to lie and all those things. Like, I was just always so curious and diving into my character. I had great hopes for the movie because it felt special from the beginning, but for it to have had the impact that it had globally was, it exceeded any expectations that I had, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of my cast members and the crew, you know, can familiarize with that, because it was unimaginable and it was a dream come true. As this was an ambitious and uncharted idea for a new film, what drew you to want to be involved? James Cameron. James Cameron drew me to want to be involved. When the creator of Sarah Connor calls, and you're like this you know, young actress from New York, from Queens, New York, actually, and he sees your audition and he believes in your potential, and then when you meet him, you audition for him, and he invites you to join the cast. That was the reason as to why I wanted to do it. I feel like if he tells me to jump, I do jump, and not because he's like this big director, but because he's such an exceptional human being and the most generous and amazing director I've worked with. There was so much secrecy behind the film, I know. What were you able to share with your family or friends? I mean, I'm gonna confess, I shared a great deal of what I was doing with my family, not really with my friends, because I was afraid of being indiscreet, but with my family because I really needed the support. At times I felt when we started shooting that I was way in over my head, and I would get filled with like self-doubt, and my family would always encourage me and give me that boost of confidence, and also they were rooting for the story because I had shared with them a lot of, you know, the plot. But I told them, if you guys ever tell anybody, boyfriends, cousins, like neighbors, I am going to. Was there a moment from reading the script or filming where you said, there's no way they're going to be able to do this, and then they did it? Yeah, especially when I would be eavesdropping on conversations that either Jim was having with the crew and they were trying to figure out a shot. You know, sometimes I would have this split feeling that I wasn't on a set, but I was in a lab and we were trying to get away with, you know, building this experiment that has never been done before. And but to see them jump into the unknown and ace it all the time, with an open heart, an open mind, and adding all of their experience into it, it made me always want to be a part of the pack. What kind of training did you have to do for the part? Everything. It was, you know, from learning to dehumanize myself, any kind of human pattern of characteristics that humans do, like nodding your face, you know, nodding your head to say yes, or shaking it to say no. All those things the Na'vi don't do. So there was a lot of work, a lot of body work, and a lot of behavioral work that I had to do. And then when it came to physical training, it was archery and it was horseback riding. It was wushu, which is a very graceful form of martial arts that I grew up to like after I trained. And a lot of fitness, because I needed to have that kind of endurance that the Na'vi have. They're just so gracious and you know, wonderful and just tall and gorgeous, and I needed to make sure that I can bend my knees and I can run on command. So there's a lot of training. Neytiri has to shoot a bow left-handed. Did you need to learn how to do that? The advantage that I have, and that Jim has is that we're both left-handed, and I almost feel like he purposely made the Na'vi all left-handed because of that, because he's left-handed. So I did have that advantage. It was a little bit challenging at first because, you know, when you hold a bow, you have to kind of like, you know, hold it this way, but the Na'vi hold it that way. And but once I got it, even today, if I practice archery, which, by the way, I don't know if he can actually indulge you guys with this, but I have really good aim. I can only shoot like a Na'vi. I cannot do archery like a human. Go figure. What is something you know about Neytiri that no one else knows? That she's shy. She's very shy, and when she doesn't feel comfortable in a situation, she retaliates with physical, you know, aggression. Yeah, that she's really shy, and she's filled with self-doubt. And it's not until she meets Jake that she gains whatever confidence she had lost when the humans invaded her planet, and she felt like she can save her people. What's your favorite line of dialogue from the movie? I think it's not really a favorite line. Obviously, "I see you" is such a powerful phrase for us, and it means a lot. And but to me, it was a word that Jim came up with to call Jake names, like when Neytiri was calling him names, like, "Oh my God, you dummy," or something, and it's called "skaung." And we used to say it all the time, still do. Do you speak Na'vi fluently? How hard was it to learn the language? I need a little more classes now. But back then, when I learned it, it was amazing. And I would practice it day and night. I loved the way it sounded. Because Spanish is my first language, a lot of the vowels were very similar to the way the Na'vi use their language. So I used that to my advantage, and I loved speaking Na'vi. What was it like the first time you saw Neytiri in her final form on screen? I'm gonna share with you two experiences with that. The very first time I saw Neytiri, she was in Jim's office, and she was a sculpture of maybe 2 feet high, and she was standing on his coffee table. And I remember I was sitting in the waiting room waiting for Jim, and he came over and shook my hand, and he said, "Are you ready to meet yourself?" And I walked with him to his office, and the first time I laid eyes on her, she was just so extraordinary, but it was unlike anything I had ever seen. And I had never imagined that she was going to look that way, because obviously he had conceived the story and this world from his imagination. So I didn't have any references that I had seen before in films prior to that. And so it was very much a blank canvas when I walked into the office, and it was amazing. The very first time I saw her on screen and she moved was surreal. I just kept pinching myself because I just couldn't believe that, I don't know, a brown girl from Queens, New York, that's Latina, would get to work with someone like James Cameron, and he was giving me the right, to incarnate this woman that I just completely became enamored with. With whom, where, and how did you watch the film for the first time? It's so funny because I can't really remember. Jim always shared with us every time he had a scene cut together that Weta would deliver to him in a form that was semi-finished. And so I felt that by the time I got to see the full movie, I think it was at Lightstorm, and it was with a lot of Jim's colleagues and some family members of his, and I think Sam was there, Sam and I. And I remember I was very quiet after I saw the movie, because one thing people don't really know about me is that when I'm awestruck or when I'm sort of shaken, in my spirit, I tend to get really introverted and very quiet. And Jim took it as as a bad thing, and he sent me this email the next day like, oh, what happened? Are you not happy? Like, is there something wrong? And then obviously I spilled my guts in this email to him of things that I was unable to say in person because I needed to digest just the wonderful thing that the wonderful vision that my eyes had sort of witnessed, you know, and it hit me in stages after I went home. So there were a lot of emails that I sent Jim the following days because of it. What has playing this character taught you about yourself? That I get emotional, that if I set my mind to it, I can achieve anything if I have a support system, if I have a team of people that look at me and say, I see you and I believe in you and I know you can do this, then I can achieve anything. Now that Pandora exists at Walt Disney World, yay! I went, by the way, it was awesome. What was it like experiencing that world for the very first time in real life? It was exciting, it was youthful, it was giddy. I also got to share it with my sisters and because they traveled with me to Florida to go experience the world of Pandora and to get on the ride as well, and that was magical. 10 years later, why do you think Avatar continues to have lasting resonance around the world? It's a story that reflects a lot of events that we have lived through as a human society. And it almost felt prophetic that if we continue to add weight to the imbalance of life and we continue to just take, not just from each other, but also from our environment without ever giving back or recycling, you know, that gift of receiving, you know, life, then that, you know, we are responsible for the demise of mankind and of planet Earth. So that to me was the lasting, resonating message that I always took from Avatar. Okay, that's it. Thank you for your questions. They were actually wonderful. I would have answered 20 more. You guys have no idea. This means a lot. This means a lot, and I want to wish Jim and everybody, the whole tribe that put Avatar together and delivered it to your, you know, to your hands and your heart. I want to say thank you. I want to say congratulations, and I want to say happy birthday, Pandora.